Well, the first thing I can do is take this out of here. It's not needed to support it anymore. Now here's a rough layout of the door. You've got to imagine some piece of PVC going in between these to form a triangle. It's going to go roughly like this. It's going to be the top up here. So the first thing I need to do is glue these together tight. I've cut myself some 1 3/4 pieces that I know are not going to be too long. They're not going to force this joint apart. So I'm going to glue all these together. What I'm going to do is find some of these lines that are manufactured into the piece and use them to align when I glue it, so that they're not twisted. You really should use a minimum of glue on this particular joint, because it can be a battle twisting these the way you want them to be. Helps to keep a pair of pliers, 2 pairs of pliers handy to twist this if you need to. So there's our condensed version of the door. Okay, I've got the pieces for the door here. Bottom piece of pipe is 28 inches long. These 2 top pieces are 17.5. Got some 3-inch pieces here for the end. Okay, this piece, I'm going to slide it on a little ways and check for alignment. Check that it's flat with the other piece. I'm going to slide these other piece of pipe in here just for a second, see how it looks. Looks like I need a little bit of adjustment here. I'm going to glue these 2 in. I'm going to check these 2 lengths here, 16.5, 16 5/8. I'm going to take 1/8 of an inch off of here so that they're exactly the same. It's awfully hard to get these in all the way. Double check this. Yep, it's good. I'm going to fasten the hinges now. Notice I've got the hinge knuckle up here. I'm going to use this quick connect as a spacer, just to judge. I want this to be a 90-degree angle here on the hinge. I want to be able to fit that quick connect in there. I'm going to make a mark on 2 of these holes. I'm going to use these 1.5 inch, 1 1/4 screws. Forgot to put the 3-inch piece at the end, so I just glued those in there and knocked them in. Here's this piece we had in here. What I'm going to do is put it up here, just about anywhere. I'm trying to make it about the same plane as everything else here, but it's easy to adjust. Just clips on there. This door is going to go right in here. Looks like I got to knock that top stop. There's actually a stop here. Knock it down a little bit. I'm going to center this. I want about the same amount on each side. You see I got about a ½ inch there. You can also check this line in the center of the pipe. Okay, I'm going to mark these ends of hinges. I'm going to go ahead and back out. I'm going to take out 3 or 4 of these screws holding this plastic on. Make it easier to work on this.
The 1-inch PVC can be sticking out a little bit or flush, but not behind.
Across here, when I fasten the hinges. So I've got to make a mark on the hinge. Let's make a mark right about like that. I'll hold these flush, and I'll make a mark here that lines up with the mark on the hinge. And I'm going to line up those 2 marks. Plus I have to move this left and right to get it in between the marks for my 2 hinges. I want this hinge, I want the top plate of this hinge to be on a line with the floor of this, with the pipe. These 2 pipes, it should be in a line with these 2-inch-and-a-half pipes. You should be able to sight down it and look right into that other 1.5-inch pipe. I'm going to use a 1/2-inch screw first to make it a little easier to drill the hole. I'm going to tighten the screw just enough so that the hinge lines up with that other piece of 1.5-inch pipe. It's not going to be completely tight. Okay, and I'm going to wrap. You just bend this metal, this hinge. I'm going to wrap it on around. I'm going to drill, use an 1/8-inch drill bit. I'm going to drill a hole through the hinge. I'm going to try not to go into the plastic. Another 1.25-inch screw here. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I think I'm going to just, as far as this being up or down, I'm going to just sight along here, make sure it's about the same. Pre-drill it with that 1/2-inch screw and finish it off with this 1.25-inch screw. Okay, bend this on around. Do the same thing I did over there. Okay, now I'm going to refasten these roof panels. Okay, here's this piece we cut a while ago. I've got to cut it off across the top here. I'm going to take a little bit and just keep working my way up until I get it where I want it. I want this to come down about 1/4 inch past that hinge knuckle. So it looks like I got a ways to go. Yeah, it's getting close. I'm going to cut the same amount off the other piece. Let's get this bottom edge straight. That's making it a little easier. I want it to come down 1/4 inch past the hinge knuckle. I want there to be the same centering on each side. I'm going to get some of these 1/2-inch screws that we saved. Looks like I've got a little bit of binding up, hinges hitting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bend these hinges up a little bit. You can do it just by pushing on them. Just bend them. Cheap hinges have their benefit. Looks like I might have to cut a little bit off of that corner there. Might have to take a little bit off down here. you got to do is look around for binding. Sometimes you have to notch this up a little bit more so when it swings around, hits the hinge on the other side, it doesn't bind. Look for all these points in here that might hit. Bending these hinges up is one of your best remedies. Okay, now I'm gonna see if I like the way this closes at the right spot. 4 1/4, 3 1/2. Looks like I need to do a little adjusting. It looks pretty good. What I'm going to do now is I got this piece and cut off the T a long time ago. I'm going to come up about 1 inch, drill a 3/16 inch hole in it. I'm going to come up here and make it so it's resting on the green plastic here, and lift it up a little bit so there's a little bit of clearance. I'm going to shoot this 1 1/4 inch screw in. Check the play in this latch. You want a little bit of play. 1/8 of an inch is going to, well, no more than 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to lock in this stop here. I'm just going to shoot a screw in the back side of it so it can't go anywhere. Well, that's it for this end. We'll go on to the other end. The latch has to be aligned over an outward rib on the green plastic to be effective. Sometimes that'll work out just fine, but sometimes the latch wants to wander off to one side and it's not very effective at latching. If that's the case, you're going to have to put a screw right here on the latch to guide it so that it stays aligned over the center of that green rib. These pieces that we cut for the ends are also just about the right size to close off this nesting box. The right length, the right height. So I'm going to use one of them as a pattern. Put it over the, we've got one scrap left here. I'm going to put it over that scrap. So here's the piece I just cut. It's not going to be quite tall enough right here, but that's alright. Chickens won't care. Get 2 or 3 of these 1/2 inch screws.
You may have to cut away a piece of this green plastic to make the opening wide enough for the chickens to get in.
So we've got a nice closed in nesting box.